It's shaking. Alright. Hello. Welcome to another video. We'll see. So I've got 4 videos in the works, so we'll see which one gets released first. Probably this one. So I had this thought pop into my brain, like it often does. And that thought was, I have so many stories, and a lot of them are about characters. And I got this idea from this starfish face because her content's awesome. She was like, I'm just gonna make a world, and then any character that I have is now in that world. And I thought that would be such a cool thing, because I don't like world building. I like coming up with different types of characters and how they interact with each other, and I still want to have a little bit of freedom. So I drew this while I was at the library, and I really like it. But so I was coming up with like theology, and is theology the word? Mythology. That's how you know your brain's been working too much. The cats are not happy. That's how you know you've been working too much with like history and stuff. All right, mythology. So I have like a whole entire, I think it's 3 pages in my like creative notebook about like the mythology and like just basically outlining the specific ideas I wanted to use. But I went in and I started designing the characters. So I want to go over everything that happens while I show you the first 2 that I did, and then we're going to do the last 4 that I still need to do. That sounds like a good plan? Sounds like a good plan to me. So I don't have names for any of these characters, okay? And they are based off of characters, that I already have. So you're going to see, like, I already have a water goddess character, but I went in and I'm redesigning her and repurposing her for this, because it's all going to be one universe anyway. So this is my water goddess. I don't have a name for her yet, but she's the water goddess. When I design the first 2, like the primordial gods, I'll go into like how everything came to be. But maybe I should just do that first before I explain to you about these 2 goddesses. Honestly, I don't know why I started with this one and then this one, but I did. So how about, instead of that, we're improvising here. We're gonna I'm kind of fine with this being a little bit cliche. So, like, for the fire goddess, it's fire. I'm not really going to be it's going to be cliche. I mean, they're going to be characters, but honestly, I don't think they're going to be a huge part of the world. They're going to have, like, not haunting the narrative, but a little bit, like, haunting the narrative. Yay, pencil! Okay. So I'm thinking maximalist, but not too maximalist, because I don't want to draw all those details. And then I want her to have like this dark side to it, to her, but I think mainly she's just going to be like this, like, I'm thinking chaotic mom energy right now. That's what I'm thinking, because she's the mom. So that's what I'm kind of thinking. Maybe even like go so far as to say the embarrassing mom energy. I don't even know what that looks like though. I think she's a bit on the older side, so like everyone has these dramatic ears, but I'm not gonna give her the dramatic ears. But it is a little bit chaotic. Maybe we do have chaotic. Or like, that would be kind of cool. But I keep saying but, I don't have anything to say after it. So let me tell you a bit how these characters like came to be. So in my world, there are these, before anything happened, there was this paradise, and I'm kind of going off of Adam and Eve type vibes, but like instead it's like, you know how everyone imagines heaven or like Olympus or like all of these, I'm thinking like lots of buildings, it's paradise. Anything that you can imagine is there, everyone's happy. But the reason I bring Adam and Eve into this is because I'm thinking these characters have never experienced like good and evil, or like good and bad, or any sort of emotions, anything like that. Like they do, but like they don't at the same time. Like they only care about themselves. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it, but they're just like because it's a little bit abstract. When you think about it, I'm thinking of it like before anything existed, you just had these beings that could literally do whatever they wanted, and they chose to like create this world where they lived in luxury and nobody really cared like about like changing it. And then there are these two characters who later become Chaos and Order. I'm not sure if they're gonna have another name in there because I don't think it's gonna be relevant at all. They're just gonna be called Chaos and Order the entire time. But when you have these characters, brain up branding. But when they have this desire to like leave, they're kicked out, and that's where you get like, there's nothing. It's the void of space. Make it no stars, no planets, no nothing. There is zip nothing there. And they realize eventually that they can use their powers, which is like, you can do anything you want. They're all powerful. That's what I'm talking about here. When they can create whatever they want. So first they make a house. I'm thinking castle vibes, a little bit like the place that they came from. And then they, like a world started to develop around them. And this is what like we would call, I don't want to say the afterlife because I'm not even sure, but where it's the God world. It's the world where you go, kind of like, I would say, like the capital. I don't know how to describe it. I was thinking about it being like, it's the first world that ever was created, and this is where these characters live. And eventually they fall in love because Chaos and Order, like, opposites attract, obviously. And they have 5 kids. These 5 kids are, they have the same powers as their parents. I just had a different image and I don't like this anymore. So we're just gonna like go here. But we don't like these characters. I'm not posting this. But so they have 5 kids, and these kids have the same powers as them, but these powers are, they choose more to specialize in something, and those are the elements, so fire, water, earth, and air. And those are like, so they got 2 daughters, and I'm thinking 3 sons, but I'm not sure. I might flip it so that it depends on how the God of Light turns out, and you guys know that character. Depends on how he, they, her turns out, however I decide to design that character. I need to look at reference pictures. Excuse me. Dude, all of the references have it like showing as some sort of evil character, but she's not evil. She's just a little chaotic. She's just a little chaos junkie. And I don't like any of it. Why are all of them evil? She's not evil. They all are both good and evil, depending on the situation. Because they start to become, basically they start to feel more human, and then, ooh, I like that one. So, you got like glowing eyes. And like this steam that comes out of the eyes. I do like that. Like, yeah. Like this chaos. It has a like the person in the like the thing that I'm looking at, like he's possessed, but she's not. It's just kind of her, bro. But essentially, okay, so they have the same powers. They just specialize in this specific element, and then them being kids, they start exploring the void. When they explore this void, the parents are like, you can do what you like, but don't go past here. And that place is exactly where, drumroll please, the old place where they came from. So like these people, they'd probably kill the kids on sight. I like the idea of like a hood. Makes her look a little bit mysterious, you know? And so they're like, okay, chill. But the parents are like, these are children. Like, the second we tell them to do something, they're gonna do the exact opposite. So they make these boundaries. And these boundaries are what we would call like the bounds of the universe. And so they can't go past these boundaries. I mean, they can, but like it's really hard to, because they're just not as experienced as Chaos and Order at using their powers. And eventually, as they grow up and they learn the story, they're like, yeah, we probably shouldn't anyway. So once they have the power, they're like, no, I'm not going to even dive into like how that even works, or if they're going to be able to do it. I think that might be like a huge storyline where like I'm not even sure. But back to what we were saying before, now they are just playing around with how things work and different types of, like, they're creating life, they're creating different types of worlds and stuff, and that's how we get all of these different worlds in the same universe with like the same gods and the same base magic system. But because the children are experimenting with it, oftentimes they'll set different limitations for different worlds, but like those limitations can change. The only limitations that stay the same are the ones that the gods themselves are bound by. Oh, that was a lot. So that's like the mythology. I like to think about the gods like, I think they all might have like this second nature. So you know how like the Greek gods, there's so many different gods, but there's only 5 here. There's like wisdom and all these different gods. So I wrote in this one, this is the goddess of fire, and she might also be one of the 2 gods of war. So I'm thinking war and peace, and then like they have their base element, but like they're also the gods of something else. So I think she might also be a god of war. It's like, this is like the chaos junkie type war. This is the order. So like the wisdom side of war. So you know how like Athena and Ares. So it's gonna be like chaos, order, chaos. But they're both goddesses of war. And then the other 2 will be like chaos and order of peace or something. I don't know. I'm not too sure about how that's gonna go. Although I really like how that went because I came up with it off the top of my head and I actually really like it. Me talking and drawing at the same time are not it. So I'm just gonna be quiet while I think of different ways that I could draw this. So I'm not somebody who really thinks and talks at the same time. So I'm thinking for like her eyes, I'm thinking they're going to be super big and super bright, but also have like those streams going out, because I want her to be like this lively character, you know? I think that would be a cool thing for her eyes, to just be super lively. I'm trying to think about why they're humanoid. So maybe like humans as we think of them, they're modeled after the gods and after like these creatures. I'm thinking maybe there are like multiple different types, not like types, but kind of like elves and stuff that might have different qualities, but they're all kind of based off of it. It might be experiments, because like the god of life becomes the god of life because he's like experimenting with consciousness and stuff, compared to the other 4 that are experimenting more with like the elements, and that's how they start specializing in different elements. So this entire section, I'm talking about how like why the gods are humanoid and why I didn't go in a more creative direction. And reason number 1 was because I'm not that good at drawing different types of things, which I do know that I need to get better at. So maybe at some point they have other like designs that are less humanoid. But the other reason is because the god of life creates life and he's experimenting with it. And as he's doing these experiments, he starts out with something he's familiar with, which are the gods. And therefore that's why he starts experimenting specifically with like what we would call humanoid, but they would call like a form of godoid. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I don't think I explained it well in my first voiceover when I was drawing this, so I figured I'd just go in again and re-record that. I need to do a more
So yeah, let me know if anyone has any questions about that part. I feel like it might be a little bit confusing.
Yeah, like that. Be like that. Okay. So like these are not humanoid creatures. The humans are godoid creatures. That's not a word, but you guys know what I mean. So it's fine. You guys get it. They can't, like, they don't know right from wrong at first, and then they slowly want to have more human experience because they feel like they're missing something. And I always thought the idea of, like, they can't lie, you know? And if they can't lie, then they can't lie to themselves about what they really want, which I thought was such an interesting concept. Like, imagine if, like, in, like, a different place, like, gods couldn't lie. But I'm not completely sure if I want to go with that. So I'm thinking as a character becomes more human-like, they can start lying. Which I thought was a pretty neat idea. But that also implies the fact They get more... See, I'm still kind of flushing this out, you know? So, I don't know what I did with this, but I kind of like it. I don't even know what it is. Because it was originally supposed to be like a design maybe that's like printed on something. But I kind of like the fact that it would be 3D. Maybe I could put like little orbs here. And they're like little glowing orbs of like magic. And they can also see. Absolutely not. That's creepy. They are not eyes. They're just going to be little glowing orbs of magic. Okay, don't worry about it. Don't freaking worry about it. And then... See, I liked the idea of like wrapping a face. But that's for that other character. No. We ain't doing that. Now we gotta think about clothing. Now this is the hardest part. So... what if... I want to do like long... I'm thinking witch vibes or like wizard vibes. I'm not sure why. I just think it would be cool and chaotic. I guess more witches are chaotic than wizards. I guess they both can be. I don't know. I don't have experience with that. So start by saying boom. Huge. I'm thinking cloak that goes down to here. Like a little capelet type thing. And then... What if no belt? We don't do the belt. It's just these glowing orb things. And then it's all... And then because she has magic, she can literally make it do whatever she wants. And then there's probably another layer to this cloak. So it's like cool and makes a cool silhouette that's like layered. See, I'm good at character design. And then I'm thinking... I feel like she's the dress type because... like dancing, and then she's the dress type. So I'm thinking this would act a little bit like a belt, and so it would actually come from here or whenever, and then it would go in. And then I'm thinking like that. No, we're gonna do it like that. Kind of like that. I had this cool idea for myth writers where, and I got this from my history class. One of the, I can't remember who it was, one of the ancient civilizations, like the Inca, Aztec, or Maya civilizations, I think it's the Inca, but I'm not completely sure. They didn't have a form of writing, according to my class. I have done no research, but they did like use records of, I'm looking for an eraser. They used records, and they kept track of things on ropes, and they used different like number of knots and things like that on ropes. And I thought that was such a cool idea. What if you had a different rope for like a different knot for each sound of the alphabet, and that's how you wrote things down. And so I might incorporate that into myth writers just because I think it's a really cool and a really unique story idea that doesn't fit into the other story idea that I am currently working on, because that one is a little bit different, and I don't think it kind of fits into that world at all. So yeah, I might do that. We will see, because I feel like I'd have to come with a knot and like a name for each knot, kind of like a letter of the alphabet. It'd be super cool because then when somebody's like writing a letter, it's like they're weaving something, and I thought that was really cool. I actually really like how flowy this is. That's actually really cool. I don't know if it's really easy to tell, but so you have the dress wrapping around like that, and it's going down, and then this is acting as a belt, and then you have this capelet that turns into a bigger cape down here. And then you have glowing eyes. It's giving prophetess vibes. So part of me is like, I want to add tattoos to the face and do these things. That would, if she's being super chaotic, I feel like she would do that though. But they have to be like, maybe like swirls and stuff. I don't know. I'll sketch out like this, and then if I do a final illustration, maybe I'll solidify it. But the thing is, I always interpret these as scars, so I'm gonna have to remember that they're little swirl tattoos that glow when she uses magic. Because obviously everything needs to glow, okay? Not because my fire character also has tattoos that glow. when she uses her magic. And need I remind you, these people can do anything. Of course they would make their tattoos glow when they use magic. I would do the same thing, obviously. It's just so aesthetically pleasing. So I actually really like this. I've had colors, so I've figured out what colors I want. So obviously colors are going to be black. I'm thinking purple, but the issue is this character also is blue and purple, but I could make this character into green and purple. But I can do overlapping character colors, but I do like the idea of purple being here. So I'm gonna do that. Let's see if I can find a cute purple. A cute little purple I can use. So these are the Hoo-Hoo markers. I'm not exactly sure if I'm gonna use them. No, I want something lighter for this. I kind of like that. Okay, we're gonna use this one. It's the P4 lavender. Alright. Where do I even want it? Okay, so I want the glowy parts to be purple. So I'm just gonna do like this. That. And then I'm probably gonna do the eyes purple too, because that's glowing. And then these thingies. So imagine that's a swirly tattoo, okay? And then I'm gonna go with a lighter purple. This is P3. Yeah, and that's gonna be the glowy thingies coming off of the eyes. And then everything else is black, but I'm not gonna color it in because then the lead will get everywhere. So just imagine that is black. Do I wanna add hair? That's a really good question. Ugh. Oh, questions. I feel like she would have long hair. I don't know. So like, it's like never put back or anything. Just always in her way, just for the vibes. I don't know why. I'm just like, she just does everything for the vibes. You know, she just, like, I do too. It's fine. Or maybe I could have her do like one of those jellyfish hairstyles. That'd be so cute. But I can't draw that, so this says I can't draw something. Okay. Apologize for the inconvenience of wasting your time. Okay. Just gonna draw a big drawing. And which means this absolutely has to be perfect. Which means speed montage, because I'm already at 30 minutes, and I'm gonna cut a lot of this out. I really like this. One of my favorite things about it is the fact that if you look at this one, she got the 2 layers. And then over here, she got the 2 layers. Okay, that's it. Jellyfish haircut. I love that. I've never done that before, but I was like, this is the perfect time. Okay, we love this. I kind of want to draw her now, like full on finished. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Okay. I wanted to talk a little bit about these 2 characters because I have 3 more that I need to do, and I'm at 42 minutes, and that's a lot of footage to edit. So, this is my water girl. She's my water girl. I don't have names for any of these characters other than Chaos and Order, but I want to talk about this one real quick. So, she is very peaceful. I'm thinking she's the oldest, probably, if I don't make the God of Life the oldest, but this is probably going to be the oldest. I really liked her character design. I was thinking about a couple different things, and then like this one was just like, no, you're doing this, like this looks good. I have like this piece going down like this, and then this side is probably going to be this side over here, or it's probably going to be this, like this piece right here. One of the things that I really like is her ears. I don't know why, but hold on. You look really closely. She's got these little fish ears, and I love them so much. I was originally going to do a trident, but that felt super cliche, so she probably uses a trident, knows how to use it. But fishing spear is probably her go-to weapon of choice. She's probably going to be a goddess of war, and like the intelligence part of war, because I feel like that just makes sense. It connects in my brain somehow, okay? Also, my previous goddess of water is also war, like wisdom and stuff. So that's probably going to be her. She's probably going to be a pretty peaceful character, and you don't want her to get mad, but when she does get mad, she doesn't often, but when she does, you don't want that to happen. You don't want to see me angry. This is my fire girl. She's the other goddess that I've designed. So I had this one, and I love the fact that I hate the fact that I love this character design right here. This is beautiful, and I love it. The issue is, right before I drew this, which was my first one, I thought of this one. Specifically these things right here. I saw a Pinterest of it, and it's been eating my brain alive. So this was the one that I'm probably going to go with, but I might combine these two. I might just love this sketch in particular, like the pants, how it starts, how it like ends sooner. See how it it's like fluffy up here and then it's tight right here. I just really like that, but I like these things, so I might combine all of that together into one specific character design where like this is fluffy and then like I don't know. So this is probably still a work in progress. So those are those two characters. I don't have names for either of them, but I'm probably gonna go for something that means fire and means water. Just because I'm trying not to shy away from being cliche, because elemental magic in and of itself is cliche. It's about what you do with it. So I'm hoping with the other characters in the world that I can develop it a little bit more, and it's a little bit more bearable that it's cliche. Of course, we already talked about her, and then we talked about the backstory. Check. I think that's it. You guys let me know down below what you guys think. These characters are probably going to influence the future world building of just about everything that I do, just because I like having a base for how I do things. So all these characters are going to be in every single world. It's going to follow the parameters of this whole world building. I still haven't figured out what those parameters are. I just wanted to get the mythology pinned down and the gods designed, because I don't enjoy world building. I like putting characters into specific situations, and so I figured I'd design one whole world, but since these characters plus their brothers are going to be rampaging around creating all sorts of shit, I can still do kind of whatever I want. And I can't wait to do that, because that means I can literally do whatever I want, but it's still like I don't have to create a whole new world every single time I have a new story to tell. And that's why I took her advice, because she also works like me. Her brain seems to work like mine when it comes to that, so I figured I'd listen to her, and I'm having a lot of fun with it, honestly. Maybe I do, I like creating mythologies, not worlds. So that's probably what I'm gonna do, and I hope you guys liked this video. It was a little bit random. We'll see what order things get posted in. I lost a lot of my previous art, and because my whole Procreate crashed, and so I had to re-download it, and I lost a lot of that art. I'm working on something right now that I still have, but I started it after, and so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's been a while, but I'm glad to be back doing something. Let me know what you guys think of these characters in this world down below, and you guys have a good rest of your day.